I want to move on to the title of the stream tonight because people are going to be tuning in and are going to want to know what we're talking about here. And I want to bring this up as well from Dean, the super chat from earlier. Fans forget how good Joe is since he's been out. What do we think, Chris? I mean, as the man who has the finger on the pulse of the LFC transfer room, Stevie G maybe wanting a bit of Joe Gomez. I can't see anyway Liverpool make the centre-back mistake we made previously. Unless, and I'll caveat this by saying, unless there's a recall clause in any potential loan. But I still think it's far-fetched.
Yeah, it's coming from the Sunday Mirror, so I'm not confident that it would be true. But in terms of the eye test, I think it makes sense. I think Aston Villa would love a player of Joe Gomez's caliber. I think he starts on form. He starts with 99% of teams in world football, in my opinion. He was so good in us winning the Premier League and at the start of our Champions League winning season. He's just had 3 very unlucky and very horrible injuries, and that is why he's 4th in the pecking order. Otherwise, he would be number 2 probably, firmly. He is that naturally talented, quick. He's still got his pace, and I think even when he's played this season, he's looked quite good. So I can't see it happening, but for Aston Villa, from their point of view, it would be an unbelievable signing.
Where is he in the pecking order, James? If everybody's fit right now, where is Joseph Gomez? Because I will agree with Chris. He is a quality left back. Centre back. I'll agree with Dean as well. I mean, he is. We forget easily how good a defender he is. I mean, I think he's guilty of ball watching a little bit, but that's one of the only criticisms I'd have.
If I had to edge what he would be, number 4. Who played the AC Milan game? Was it Matip and Gomez?
Oh, mate, I can't remember yesterday, let alone who played that game.
No, I hear you. That's more of a question directed to the chat because that was when he was available. Joe Gomez, as of this second, from my knowledge, isn't available. So I'm still confused on who's ahead, him or Kante. If I had to make an educated guess, I'd say Kante because I think Jurgen Klopp might like what he sees and Kante likes the attributes he brings. But Gomez has very similar attributes. He's known for being quick. He's known for being dominant. He's got experience in the team, and he's still very fucking young. I do believe a loan move actually wouldn't be too bad, just because at this point last season, we'd already had like Van Dijk out and Matip was out and stuff like. Whereas Chris has already informed me that Matip's been fine and had his longest run without injuries for God knows how long or ever. Virgil van Dijk, he's been fine. You know, the touch wood, of course, but the chances of someone just going in and taking him out again, you know, that usually happens once in a blue moon. So Kante, he's been fine. Nat Phillips, he's an option. You know, I'm sure if it did get really bad, there's someone that you could call out of the academy. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I wouldn't hate a loan deal. And of course, this is hypothetical because it's probably not going to happen. I'm sure Jurgen's very happy to keep Joe Gomez. But to someone like Aston Villa, with a manager like Steven Gerrard, with the system that they play, very well set out defensively, Aston Villa, and Rangers were known for the same thing. They were known for systematically being a good defensive team. Who's to say he won't improve in that regime? Who's to say that he won't learn things from a different type of coach? Because yes, Jurgen Klopp is the greatest coach in the world, or the greatest manager in the world in my eyes, but you can still pick things from other managers and that makes you a better player. Joe Gomez could go to that team, be a mainstay, and then return, regularly starting, coming back with a different ooze of confidence, and then be able to walk into our team and be like, well, I've just done it for Aston Villa. I've just learned new things off a different coach. Who's to say I can't bring something to this team? So, regardless how true or not true this is, I honestly think that would be the perfect case scenario. Because let's look at Nat Phillips, who's older than Joe Gomez. I'd love to see him get more game time. Nathaniel Deeney Van Phillips has never done anything wrong for him to make me not want him to be my 4th choice centre-back. But the reason why he's not is because Gomez is there, Kanate's there, and then you've got the main 2 at the top. But I wouldn't mind him being the 4th choice. And again, injury record for Nat Phillips seems to be very, very good. So that's why I only suggest I wouldn't mind the loan deal. And to that team, if he was to go to a shite team like Newcastle or whatever, I don't think he's going to learn too much from it, Eddie Howe. I don't think he's going to go to most of the smaller sides in the league. But someone like Aston Villa, with, you know, that type of club with a proper fan base who's going to get on you if you're playing bad, but also expect high expectations with that type of coach, boys, I'm all for it. I don't know if I've changed.
Can I be honest? I'd sell him in the summer. I would. I'd sell him. I'd sell him in the summer.
What the fuck?
I would. I'd sell him in the summer. I'd have a little. Hear me out,
Craig. Okay.
Hear me out. There is a method to this madness. So I look at the centre back landscape now, and I think Kante clearly brought in ahead of Gomez. People can deny that as much as they want. He's been brought in ahead of Gomez. He's third choice behind Matip now and will eventually succeed Matip to play alongside Van Dijk. I look at the youth system. I think Billy Comedio is almost as close to a guarantee as you can get of a young centre-back coming through. And I don't care if Joe Gomez's past injuries have been unlucky. And they have. They've been fucking serious, though. And they've kept him out of the game for a long time. So for me, if Aston Villa want to come in and Joe Gomez would go there, he would play, he would work as everything James said there stands true. Great club, good manager, great crowd, great stadium, everything. And I think he'd settle in and he'd have a career. And I don't think he'll ever be able to nail down a genuine starting berth in this Liverpool defence moving forward on a regular basis. I don't think he'll do it. I don't think he's capable of it. And I don't think his body's capable of it.
Can I just
Mr.
dispute
Redmond?
a few things? Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Lord. So I just want to dispute a few things, and please don't cut my head off when I do, because I know that you're a Lord and all that business. But I feel like there's a few things that you've just said that I think I can dispute. First of all, Kante being definitely above Joe Gomez.
In the long-term picture, long-term picture.
In the long-term picture, all right, that's fair enough. But even still, I can try and dispute that because they're both still very, very young. And if we get to next season with a full year of Jurgen Klopp seeing them both in training and seeing them both in the League Cup games, the FA Cup games, I understand the injuries. Even Kanate's not as unlucky, but he's had his fair share of injuries. So that's why I just think there's still an element of competition there. And there's been many players before. It's not like he's an attacker and he's just always going to be relying on pace. Over time, he can improve the way he reads the game. And, that's why I just think there's still a chance and there's still a hope for Joe Gomez there. And even at the start of the season, Joe Gomez, he played above Kante in the AC Milan game. He played in the Norwich game as well alongside Kante. It's only the past few games where we haven't been able to really play him because he's had an injury. So, he's won a Premier League, he's won a Champions League, and he's done very, very good in both of them. His attributes, I like to compare him to Rio Ferdinand in terms of attributes because I feel like they have got very similar styles of play. It's just a matter of can he reach that potential. Gomez has been one of the best young centre-backs in the league for years, and to sell him right now, I feel would only be ludicrous because I think he hasn't had a lot of football last season. He never had much this season. So if we sold him in the summer, we're probably not going to get as much as we could. Or maybe but if we sold him the summer after, we're probably not going to lose too much more value because he's still, established and he's not going to be too much older. And it gives us another year of seeing who's actually the best. I feel like the summer would just be too premature. That's all I'm going to say.
If he stays at Liverpool, he's not going to the World Cup next year, first and foremost. So we can agree on that.
I don't. I think that if I was going to move on any centre back in our squad, it would be Joel Matip.
You're not going to sell Matip though. You're not going to sell him. Nobody's buying him.
If I had to choose,
but nobody's buying him. It's like trying to get rid of Origi. Nobody wants him.
But he will do now with some of the goals he's scored.
It's not because he's not good enough. It's purely the age of the injury thing. But I think Liverpool can accommodate Joel in that sense.
Do you not think though that as a team we've had all this conversation about depth? Do you not think that as a team chasing on all fronts we should have 4 world-class centre backs?
We should. And I'm not saying we don't go out and buy somebody. I'm just saying I think Billy Comedio is a great option to come through as the next centre back. But if, let's say, Aston Villa come and say, right, here's 40 million for Joe Gomez, I'm saying that I think we can look to Europe and get a defender that is going to be potentially more robust than Joe Gomez, may take time to set into our system. And to just come back to James's point, I think the reason we've seen Joe Gomez play more at the start of the season was because Kante quite simply wasn't up to speed yet with what Klopp wants. And that's something that we spoke about before with Robertson, with Oxlade-Chamberlain. It took them 6 months. It took them 6 months to get up to speed. And again, we forget how young Kante is as well. Like, what did he do? He's just turned 22 or something. Yeah. So, I don't dislike Joe Gomez. When we signed him from Charlton, it was an unbelievable piece of business. But I just think he's got a lot of baggage, injury-wise, a lot of potential headaches. He should be coming into 24, is he now? So we should be coming into 25, 26, 27, peak years. And I just think he's had a lot of injuries. And look, nobody wants to be injured. He's not injury prone. He's been really unlucky. But from what I've heard before about some of the medical aspects around what Joe Gomez has gone through, I just have this lingering feeling that he feels like he wants to play every week, and he'll want to. I get the Nico Williams vibe there. I feel like he there's been too much talk behind the scenes of a bit of unrest with Joe Gomez for a while now for me, and I think eventually it'll come to a head. And I can't say that if he goes into Jurgen Klopp and says, Gaffer, I want to play alongside Virgil van Dijk for the majority of the games, I don't think with a good conscience any of us can say that he deserves to.
Chris, Craig's kind of changed my mind in this instance. Right, hear me out. This is a great shout. I'm still logged into the StreamYard, by the way, Craig, hence why I can do this shit.
Oh, lovely, brilliant, work away.
What about a set like with a buyback clause? Chris, think about it. What Craig's just said is very, very true. You know, Kante is also very young. We've still got a good... we forget Nat Phillips is there. We might not even need to go out and buy a new centre-back. You could be right. Mateo could be very, very good and be able to step into that role in a few years. Virgil van Dijk's still going to be class for the next 3 or 4 seasons. So really, we're only looking on replacing one key centre-half. I think Nat Phillips, Kante, Van Dijk and Matip is still a good partnership. Still bear in mind, though, Matip is injury prone and stuff like that. But Joe Gomez is also injury prone. So, and you've also got to look at this from a business point of view. Liverpool are skint. Regardless what we want to say, we have got no money, but we will win the league. It's just true. And if we can get 30 to 40 million for Joe Gomez, which I believe we can, especially in the 40 range, with a buyback clause... Honestly, I wouldn't be too against that, because if he goes away and becomes world-class boss, so he come back to Liverpool, mate. Otherwise, you're not a necessity for us right now, because he's not. Like, I'm intrigued to see what Kante can turn into. I already know Nat Phillips can do a job when he is called upon. I know Virgil van Dijk is going to be boss for the next few seasons. I know that we do have to give younger players a chance. I do also hear the notion when you say compete on all fronts. But again, like I said, Kante and Nat Phillips, I think they're good enough to fill in a void. With a buyback clause, I wouldn't be against it. And 40 million would be lovely. So I'm probably leaning more towards...
Do you know how I'd keep Gomez, Chris? Do you know what I think would be the best for us to get the best out of Gomez? If we switch to a back three. Then I'll be all over Joe Gomez in a back three.
I just think he's proven. I think he's proven. I don't know. You put him in the same notion as Nico. I think Joe Gomez has been...
As in angling for a move away. As in, like, we spoke in the summer, Nico wanted to move.
But I think Joe is... He has been so... He's just been excellent. In 2018-19, the start of last season, got a horrible injury with England. 19-20, he was magnificent. I don't think...
And build up to the part where you're about to say, and he got an injury.
He did get an injury.
Because it's coming.
But just don't forget, I don't think we could just... I think it would be an idealistic world to say that Aston Villa would accept Joe Gomez with a buyback clause. I mean, they probably won't...
I think more of a sell-on clause, personally, than a buyback clause would be...
Yeah, maybe.
Would be...
I think Joe Gomez has the potential, and without his horrible time, he would be 100 million centre-back. If we can get 50 for him, I would be open to it.
We won't get 50.
If Joe Matip wasn't made out of crackers, he'd be one of the world's best defenders. He probably already is. But Joe Matip, if he wasn't so injury prone, he'd probably be an 80 million quid defender. Because let's be honest, he's good enough with his footballing ability. So I just wonder, like, maybe look, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, and this is a discussion, and all points are valid. I love a debate. I'm just fed up of having injury prone players. I really am. I'm fed up of loving them as well and having injury-prone players.
Yeah, and it's just best for all parties. It's best for Joe Gomez if he goes away and gets a bit of first-team experience. It's best for us to gain 30 to 40 million pounds.
If we want to carry on, Chris, and Jurgen Klopp wants to bang this drum about not having excessive players around because we need to move with players that we can use and players that will buy into the system and players that he can look in the eye and say you're going to get minutes, I don't think we can afford to carry any passengers with regards to injuries if we're going to have a tight-knit squad. If you're somebody like Manchester United or Chelsea who has this strength and depth and you've got 5, 6 centre-backs at the club, then you can afford to carry them. But when we're paying wages, and I don't know what Gomez's wages are, I imagine he's about 80, 100 grand a week, something reasonable like that. I just think we can't afford them. We carry in too many at the minute with regards to Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who has proven his fitness this season, absolutely. Thiago picks up his niggles, Hendo picks up his niggles, Matip picks up his niggles. I think something has to give if we're to move forward and realistically try and compete.